Saseni Mkofiti, welcome to Cele's Reflection. It is March. Did you know that in the month of March, it's when we create awareness on cerebral palsy? Wacha niseme CP. Juu hiyo palsy kidogo ikatae. Yeah, but did you know that? So on today's episode, we are talking about cerebral palsy. Na siko peke yangu, juu mimi sijui, hata nimejua hiyo leo. So today I have two amazing people on set. Of course, we have to have the expert and a parent. So tuanze na expert. Jintroduce.
Okay, thank you. Pleasure to be here. My name's Vincent Gesora. I'm a physiotherapist or a physical therapist, as some might call me. And I'm the head of rehabilitation here at Cele. Yeah, we work with children, with different types of disabilities, and also adults as well. Yeah.
Okay, nice. And then we have a lady. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, my name is Joan Mogiti. I'm mother to a cerebral palsy, a girl living with cerebral palsy, 80 years old. Her name is Zuri.
Zuri. Yeah. I can refer you to you as Mama Zuri, as we were talking off camera.
Yes.
Okay. So maybe to start with, what exactly is CP? What exactly is cerebral palsy?
So, cerebral palsy from the word cerebral, which means brain, and palsy basically meaning weakness or muscle weakness. This is a condition where it affects the brain when it lacks oxygen. So mostly during the period of delivery, before birth and during birth, there are complications that might take place that cause hindrance or reduced brain oxygen intake. So when intake is less inside the brain, the functions of the cells starts to die. So we have, in terms of severity, if it takes long before the child maybe cries, it shows that they might have signs of CP at the end of when they grow up. So vile unasikianga wazazi wakiulizwa mtoto wako alilia. So when they cry, it shows that there is oxygen and the child is alive. But when the child is not crying, meaning there's no brain, there's no oxygen in the brain. So it happens during that, mostly during that period. So it's brain damage. Cells to the brains are damaged in the brain.
So they develop this on the day, like during birth.
Yeah, during birth, during the first, when they are pregnant, they can have maybe, if they get an accident, they can get an injury, or maybe foods that they might consume which might lead to a certain condition in the child's while they are in the belly. That can also be a factor. And also now during delivery. Yeah. Also issues to do with breech presentations when the child is not placed well in the pregnancy, during the pregnancy period. So that can also be an issue that can lead to CP.
Okay, so Mama Zuri, maybe just a small brief on your story with Zuri.
Zuri acquired her cerebral palsy during birth. I had a prolonged labor. I didn't know it was prolonged labor because I was the first time mom. During that time, when she was born, she did not cry because she was tired from what the doctor said. She was tired, so when she was born, she did not cry. They tried to do whatever they do so that she can cry. At least they managed her to cry, but after some time. So that is how we began the journey of cerebral palsy. At first, I did not know. I had no clue that maybe it will lead to cerebral palsy. Actually, I didn't know like there is a condition called CP. So when she was born, alipelekwa NBU. She was admitted to the NBU because of lack of oxygen. The doctor told me I may suffer asphyxia, that is lack of the oxygen to the brain. She was admitted to the NBU akapewa some medication, I think, to prevent the infections that may occur. And then we stayed there for some time. That is when the doctor told me, Mami, mtoto wako, yes, you know, you saw what happened during delivery. Yes, hakulia. That means the brain haikupata enough oxygen. That is, the lungs hazikufunguka, so the brain haikupata enough oxygen. And that means the brain ilikuwa affected. Bado sikuwa na clue. I was very green being the first time. And then akaniambia, when she grows up, wacha tumpatie matibabu, medication, so that we can see her progress. As time goes by, we stayed for 3 weeks. After 3 weeks, bado alikuwa on oxygen. And hizo feeding tubes and all that. Ndio akaniambia, the doctor told me now, vile kunaendelea, this baby, yes, atadevelop, atakuwa, but the way she'll hit her milestone, ata hit kama wengine, they'll be a bit slower than expected. Yeah.
So what I'm getting is, for CP, you will know mtoi akizaliwa, like atatoka tu vizuri, hiyo tu kukosa kulia, does it assure you that mtoi ako na cerebral, ama wengine wanaweza kosa kulia but hakose kuwa na?
That is a red flag, and it's a lead to diagnosis. So mostly you can't tell directly how the development will occur. But the longer the period the child does not cry, it tells you the severity. So we can inform the parent that the child will probably develop at a slower rate, but you won't be able to explain at an extent how the basically, unajua, others you can say ataweza kutembea ama ataweza kushika shingo, but others get to that point where they are able even to walk and do other things. But in levels, other severity cases, some of them are not able to walk. So it depends on the extent of damage to the brain, which we can't currently ascertain after the child is born and ajalia. We can't say it's 50% damaged. We are not yet at that capacity. So
Actually, that was my next question. So what are the challenges, especially now for Zuri? What are her challenges now that?
Okay, for Zuri, we have achieved, I can't say much.
No, like what if I'm to see this baby with CP, what are some of the challenges that she has? Ni nini haizifanya as compared to what she's supposed to be doing? Okay,
at her age, okay, let's start from the beginning. They hit their milestones. They take a longer time, a longer period to hit their milestones. Like alijifunza kuketi, halifunzwa kuketi at 4 years.
Roughly.
Yes, roughly 3.5, 4 years. That is when she was able to achieve this sitting milestone. And then from there, for now, we can stand with support while holding something, and we can walk with that support.
At 8 years?
Yeah, at 8 years. Her speech is not clearly developed, but at least she can communicate. Yeah, she can read, not clearly, but she can read. She cannot write because of the hand and eye coordination. We have toilet trained her, something which most cerebral palsy children don't actually achieve. For her, that is a plus. Yeah, what else?
So these are some of the challenges that these kids have.
And even, I think we started with Zuri around 3 months when they came in.
Wow.
So, and when she came in, like, you know, mostly when you develop from your neck going down, what we call cephalocaudal, from your neck or head going down. So your neck control has to gain strength first. You're able to sit. That's when you're able to now maybe reach out and then stand and then walk. So we started first with the head control training. The sitting came in. Now we were working on the standing, and now mobility, which we're almost achieving. Yeah, so it's stage based. Yeah.
So Are there specific foods that these children take in terms of diet? Because I'm thinking if the baby is achieving the milestones too late, also in terms of eating solid foods, you have a specific diet.
Yes, we do. You know, most of cerebral palsy children, they have the issue with the calcium levels. Their calcium levels tend to go low. So you have to work hand in hand with the nutritionist to recommend what food to take, what not to take. Like for her, she drools, so sugars will not do for her, because when you give her food, sugary food, it means she's going to drool a lot. So you cut that, and maybe you limit the intake of gluten. That is for her case. Cerebral palsy, you can find two people with cerebral palsy, but different cases. That is her case now. Gluten, we reduce the amount of gluten, that is the bread, taking the wheat flour. And then we take a lot of water because of her drooling, to keep her hydrated. Yeah.
Maybe you can tell us now that for her it was on birth. Are there cases where mtoi anaweza toka tu sawa, aliye sawa, then later on apate na CP? Is it possible?
So probably the term might change, but the presentation might be the same, because when you get head trauma or head injury, you probably injure your brain cells. So you might have presentations of
CP.
CP, but the cause was different. So some you can get, they probably get what you call one-sided. They are able to like control their one side, or it's weak, what you call hemiplegic. So it depends, but mostly when we diagnose cerebral palsy, it's from the history, how the mother conceived the child, what happened in between that period. Yeah.
Do we have levels of CP?
Yeah, we have levels of severity, and we also have types. So the types mostly it's dependent on how they present. So we have a spastic. So these are the ones who are very stiff. They cannot be able to coordinate movements. They are very stiff. When you stretch them out, ni ngumu kuwa stretch.
Okay.
Yeah, we have adetoid, whereby their movements are not coordinated properly. They can move, but not coordinated. We have floppy, whereby these ones are just, they cannot be in a stiff one position. So they are floppy. Their muscles they cannot coordinate their muscles. So ukiwaeka chini mikono yao tu iko.
Ni mwenye ana drool.
Mostly they present with drooling, though all of them, but floppy, they drool a lot. And then lastly, we have the mixed, whereby you can have bits of the spastic and the floppy at the same time. Because now the brain, if it's sending out messages to the muscles, it's now, sometimes it's floppy, sometimes it sends a lot of input, so you find the person is spastic. So it's a mixed of floppy and spastic.
So,
kind of the category.
Mama Zuri, I'm thinking when the doctor told you your daughter has CP, was there a bit of medication? Ulijipataje kise? Was there a bit of medication? How was it for you going home with that baby, your first baby, as you're saying?
At first, I did not know what is CP. So at that moment, I couldn't hit like, this is something serious. I was like, oh, I'm just here for a few weeks or 1 month, and then I go home. And then the doctor gave us a review after discharge. Because before discharge, tulipita tukaambiwa, you have to go now to see the baby has issues, her legs has issues. So mtapita pale kwa physiotherapy, mtaekewa POP. POP is plaster. And then we went tukaekewa POP. They gave us a review. You have to come back after 2 weeks to change the POP, and then we'll give you the steps, like how we are supposed to move.
Huyu ni mtoi wa 1 month amekuwa plaster?
Yes.
Like ile plaster, ile kitu nzito ya mguu?
Yes, na ilikuwa both legs actually, to correct the
Clubfoot kind of.
So when we came back for review, ndio daktari akaanza kutupatia, okay, after that I went and googled, Google helps us a lot. I wanted to see like what is CP, how does it look when someone is an adult, and then you get the worst images,
Yeah.
the images that comes with CP when you Google, they're not friendly, like the reality. Yeah, and then we had to do research now. What next? Is there any medication? Is it curable? And unfortunately, it's not. You just have to manage it the rest of your life. So that is when we asked the questions. We were so curious, me and the dad. We asked about how can we manage it, maybe to make it easier. But as a parent, when you go there, you go with we can manage it, and maybe atakuwa tu sawa, she'll be the first one to be cured. So they told us, no, what we have to do, you have to start. Meanwhile, at the NBU, we started the therapy. The doctor told me, now we are doing the therapies because of ABCD to help in movement. But I did not understand why the therapy. So they used to do therapy for her every day, actually.
She's breastfeeding nicely?
No, she wasn't.
So
she
she's
was
not
feeding on
breastfeeding?
pipe. Yes, she was just lying on the bed. So when you have to feed her, you have to get her from the bed. The nurse will help you take from the bed, and then they'll show you how to feed with the tube and syringe.
Even back at home?
No.
Back at home?
That is when we were in the hospital. Before we were discharged, for her, she was lucky enough, alifunzwa kunyonya, and akarespond vizuri. So we continued with the cup feeding. Now, after some time, we introduced cup feeding. That was the first one, actually, even before breastfeeding. And she responded very well. Akafunzwa kunyonya, we continued. So by the time we were going home, she was around 1 month old.
So ananyonya vizuri?
Yeah, so alikuwa ananyonya, but not vizuri. Ananyonya, and then most of the time she will choke. Her muscles are still weak. So she will choke. Sometimes hata unaogopa kumnyonyesha, especially when you have the visitors around, haunyonyeshi mtoto vizuri, why is she choking? Position her well. Her muscles are weak. The head is still falling. You get that choking a lot. You have to learn the first aid, the way you deal with a choking child, and the way you'll feed them.
So I'm thinking already normally kunyonyesha mtoi ya choke, it is scary. Hata ule mwenye shingo yake iko sawa ama mwenye how was it for you, huyo mwenye choking is very scary for mom?
Yeah, at first we used to ilikuwa inaogopesha, but as time goes by, I think the brain of a human being in a register hiyo ni kitu ya kawaida. You just to learn how to manage it, and at the end of the day the child must feed. Lazima akule so that I grow na apate hiyo energy, and then you don't just feed. When you leave the hospital, for my case, we were given the feeding program. After this, you feed after this long, and after this long, and you feed this much. So you have to make sure you feed that much, not more, not less. So mkanaenda mkincrease as the age of a child. Vile progress, you continue increasing. So eventually she got used to breastfeeding, but she could still choke. And then it came to around 6 months when we were supposed to introduce the weaning part.
But by this time ushakuja Kise?
Yeah, this
3
time
months.
nishakuja Kise. Tulikuja Kise 3 months. We are still also going somewhere else, ile kutaka
compare notes.
Yeah, compare notes, seeking second opinions. And then so hiyo shaikuwa introduced kwa neurologist. That is hiyo naweza sema for cerebral palsy, hiyo ni lazima. You don't have any choice. So by that time, at least I had learned a lot through Google, through them. Actually, the therapist, naweza sema, they do a very good job, because sometimes when they see you're not well, they'll introduce you to a counselor who can guide you, a nutritionist. They will introduce you to everyone around that circle who can help you, who can walk that journey with you. So in Kise we came. By that time, wakaanza kumfunza, and then they'll teach you how to position the child.
Actually,
because
that's what I want him to tell me. Now, when Mama Zuri came, or rather when I come in as a parent with a CP child, what's the treatment?
So the initial thing is basically getting to know the background so that you ascertain what happened and know how to maybe have the treatment program. So for Zuri's case, she was 3 months old. So, and in rehab, we have different professionals and they handle cases differently. So we have occupational therapist, we have the physiotherapist, we have the speech therapist, and also the orthopedic technicians. So for Zuri's case at that period, they needed an occupational therapy, which they did assessment, and they started their program. Mostly we started with the neck control exercises. So we did that for some time. They went to the sitting.
Hii ya neck,
Yes.
nataka tu kujua cause I'm curious. Like
Okay.
mi sijui.
Yeah.
Cause when you get a baby, unaambianga ushike hiyo shingo vizuri. Unajua kakiwa kadogo. So I'm assuming this CP baby at 3 months bado the muscle is still weak. Sindio? Ama see
Yeah.
those are the signs.
Yeah. So, and one thing we have to appreciate is what we call early intervention. Once we already know that there is a probability of the child getting delayed developmental milestones, it is our duty to ensure they start rehabilitation early enough. So that, because when you talk about delayed, that period is prolonged. And us as rehabilitation professions, our work is to constrict that period to ensure they achieve at least earlier than
haitafanana na ule wa kawaida,
mwenye hajapata
but
therapy
it
mapema.
won't be. Okay.
Yeah, so we literally work on the neck. Once we are try and achieve the neck, we move to the next phase, which is probably rolling. We have then sitting, then reaching. So that's all done by the occupational therapy. But now when the child starts to bear weight, it also matters to do with drooling. The occupational therapy helps with that, muscles of the mouth to assist in chewing, drooling, so they have exercise they give for that. Once at least the child is able now to bear weight or stand with objects or somewhere, bora ameanza kuweka uzito kwa miguu, then now we refer to the physical therapist. So the difference comes in, at least when you talk about occupation, it's occupation, things that you do
With your
your hands, activities of daily living. And when you come to physio, it's physical, mostly like things, what we say mostly gross motor, or the large muscles, functions that you do using the large muscles. So when they start to stand, we take them up. So we train and ensure their legs are strong enough, they're able now to take steps, they're able to jump at least, able to run, such activities. And then the speech therapist can come in between. So that's why it's a multidisciplinary kind of intervention. They can be the same day seeing a physio and then see an OT, different functions, that they may be next session, see a speech. So work all together. We work together.
Okay. So what I'm getting is that all these things are achievable, just that they'll be delayed. Like
So when-
now, whatever she was saying, Zuri is
Yeah.
anatry kutembea, just that it's at 8 years, but it's achievable in a calm.
Now, it's achievable.
Amefanya hivi.
To
Like she has something.
it's when you remember when you talked about the severity and the types of CP.
Yes.
So that's the key factor that that is mostly looked into. If it's very severe, it might take a long time.
Okay.
And we are not bringing them to normal. We are bringing them to near normal.
Okay.
So if probably they walk, they might walk, but not as we walk.
As we
They
walk.
might use assistive devices to walk, but our target is to ensure independence. Anaweza kaa kwa nyumba mwenyewe na aende kitchen, afanye kitu. Aende kwa loo, afanye venye anataka. So independence, that's mostly what we are looking. So we adapt the environment, we adapt the assistive devices so that they're able to cook for themselves, feed themselves, change themselves, kujivalisha nguo. But not they're not getting to norm, because as we said, it's a It's a non-progressive, yes, but it's a permanent condition. So you don't heal from it. So you don't get better.
But at least you are independent, at least.
Yeah, we rehabilitate to and then introduce assistive devices to bring them to near norm. Yeah.
Question, I'm curious, what's the, unaweza sema the, like the oldest patient wa CP, ako how old? Like the one who's, because you've said about being independent, anaweza
Yeah.
jipikia. Do you have like an
Yeah,
age? Upper?
Yeah, I think we have 40s.
14?
40.
40s?
Yeah.
40-year-old? This one is in, like quite
So
independent.
they are independent. Some of them are working.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
Some
is
are
so
working.
encouraging.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're out there, they're working, they come here for sessions, they go back to their work.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's why we're saying early intervention,
Yeah.
best service providers from therapy, school, educational assessment, functional needs assessment, and placement. That's when we bring up the government to ensure the institutions accept the children with disabilities and adapt the environment and provide spaces for them to work in. They can do it, but to just adapt their spaces just a little bit, but they can do it.
I love that. It is so encouraging, by the way. It is so encouraging. So, Mama Zuri, now here we are. Zuri ameanza at just a brief journey venye alienda akigrow hadi sahi 8 years. Akafika 1 year. Ni nini ulikuwa unaona at every year akaanza kufanya hivi? Just a brief journey of Zuri.
Okay, you know, as a parent, you get to compare a lot, like mtoto wangu amefanya hivi. By this time, anatoshana na huyu, so ako supposed to, he or she's supposed to do whatever that children wa hiyo age wanafanya. So unfortunately for us, it's not the case. So when you walk around, okay, hiyo ilikuwa mwanzo, when you used to walk around and you see like age mates wake wanafanya ABCD and then you're like, you go and cry and you say like, wangu watafika huku lini? It's not an easy process ya kuenda, but once akiachieve hiyo milestone moja, we feel like the world has come down to us. You know? Sometimes, like I can give an example when Zuri Ali, the first time she rolled, that was amazing. You know, hadi unachukua video ko like, can you see my baby just rolled? You know,
Like
there's
rolling.
there's small things that we take for granted.
True.
But for us, parents wenye tuko na cerebral palsy children, that is a very big milestone. So you see when she rolled, at least unajua muscles zake ziko on track, ako somewhere. So at least mnaweza enda to the next milestone. And the first time alisimama the first time alijaribu kusimama, that was amazing. Ilikuwa kwa koti yake and then nikaona mtoto amejaribu akasimama, alikuwa shaky but hey, here she was, amesimama, at least ameshikilia. He was around 4 years. You can imagine mtoto anasimama at 4 years and the parents were like, okay, this is amazing. That was awesome. So this milestone, they take time, but as time goes by, you eventually, not all, there's some cases yenye bado maybe wako 18 years na bado hawajachieve hizo milestone, maybe not even sitting, it happens. So for us, at least we have been able to achieve that pole tu. So we don't rush. Ile time atatake, that is the best. We get to appreciate. And actually working with a therapist inasaidia sana. Very, very important. Because if ukileta mtoto, therapist amfanyie therapy, and as a parent you don't follow up, bado utakuwa unasaidia. Like you don't do that program wanakupatia ya home care program. It helps a lot. So kama parent you don't follow it, itakuwa kibarua sana, because atakuwa anapata the number of hours zenye anafaa kuwa active, so that hizo muscles pia zikuwe active. Yeah.
So, wow, ni teamwork. It is teamwork. Ukimpea homework, aende afanye, akirudi next time so that you progress. Are there challenges that you face with the parents, not the kids. The parents. Because I think it must be. Jumi kami mtoto wangu, kuna venye hata kama nataka nisaidiwe, kuna venye naweza ona therapy, mse wa physio, unafinya mtoto wangu sana. Unajua ile kama mzazi, as much as I'm coming here for help, naweza toka nikilia. Are there challenges you face?
I think maybe first of all is to say if they are strong people.
Ni hao wazazi.
Yes, they're the strongest people. But we understand it comes with challenges. And as therapists, as she said, we give home care programs. When we are doing a program or doing therapy, we always want to have the mother there or the caregiver there. And then we tell them, do this is okay, do this at home, and do it severally. And because you understand, that child is not able to lift the hand by themselves, they're not able to lift the leg by themselves, unlike the other child who does that oftenly. So huyu mwenye hawezi fanya hivyo, there's so many things that might go wrong if they don't do that. So we encourage the mother. Vile ule mtoto mwingine anatokanga anacheza, how many times probably they move their hands? A lot. Na huyu mwenye ako kwa kitanda hawezi jisongesha. So it's your turn now to ensure that child, whatever free time you get, you just do some home program with the exercise with the child. The more, the better. So we try and encourage that, and the challenge probably we get is mama ndio, akikuja kwa daktari atasema, haizi sema hakufanya juu, they'll kind of feel, wataambia tunafanya inarudi nyuma, so we are not doing anything progressive. So, but we encourage them, and we understand mostly because some have to go to work, some are more engaged, but we try and encourage them that if you do this more, the outcome is better. So we try work with them, follow up, and see and ensure that the child gets the best care that they need.
What about for the parent, the challenge? Now you, not you with the therapist, but now you have other kids, Mama Zuri?
Yes, I do. Once.
Smaller than Zuri?
Yeah.
So what was your challenge like? What is the challenge between you and Zuri? What was your challenge back then? Because mwingine najua.
First challenge, hata vile umesema mwingine, getting to have mtoto mwingine is a big challenge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if you find mtu ako na mtoto wa CP, most of them, not all, but most of them, wamepeana very, very big gap. There's a very big gap in between because of that fear, like, what if?
What if?
Yeah, what if?
I'm assuming even the second one hukutaka kusikia labor pains.
I'm telling
1 week before.
Yeah, you just go and unambia, the first thing unafika hospital unambia, yes, I'm expecting, but I have ABCD. Like you have to give the history of the child mwenye ako mbele ya huu mwingine mwenye unexpect. So when ukipeana hiyo history, the doctors, okay, I don't know kama ni hospitali zote wanakuanga very cautious.
Oh, okay.
The way they treat that case is different than the others. So hiyo ilikuwa challenge moja to get another child for after Zuri. There are quite a number of challenges.
Just tell me two. Because I'm sure maybe there's someone out there who will relate to those challenges.
Society.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, raising this child, ni mtoto ako different than others. And then kuna hawa watu kwa society, they tend to think like, huyu amerogwa. This child, the family is cursed, Like, why is it happening only to her or to that family, So, most of them matter. Okay, sema most, but some people, they don't even want to, unaweza pita na mtoto na unaona anapita kule mbali, so that they don't get that contact. Even saying hi, my child is very, very talkative. She's very engaging. Ukipita utasikia amesema hi. So sometimes she says hi and you see someone frowning or making faces. She understands everything. And she really feels it. And tukifika home, if something happened in school, she'll come and tell me.
Oh, she goes to school?
Yes, she goes to school. we started school when at around age 5. They encouraged me to take her to school. At first, it was very difficult to let her go, but she had to.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she goes to a normal
A
school.
regular school.
Yeah, just
Wow.
a regular school. At
So
first,
she's like now she's coordinating kuandika, kutembea,
no, she
kusikiza.
cannot write,
Uh-huh.
but she can read.
Okay.
Yeah, so she when it comes to mobility, she's on a wheelchair, so that helps her a lot to moving around. Actually, she learns from others most. Like kusoma kwake mingi hata ni kutoka kwa wenzake, because at first alianza na a school that ilikuwa na special unit. They did a good job. But sasa ikafika mahali kisi advice that, you know, this child is able to learn, and her way of learning is learning from others. So you have to consider inclusivity. Yeah, inclusive learning. So that is when we started the inclusive learning. So far so good. It's a term now, and we are doing well. For this term amekuwa able her speech imekuwa a bit clearer than before. Alafu her vocabulary imegrow, you know. Anakuja anakwambia this word, then you're like, oh, I didn't know you knew about that. Yeah, she picked the vocabulary from others. Yeah.
And maybe to add on top of that, I think you see the progresses that Mama Zuri is picturing or seeing with the child. It's all about ensuring that you have early intervention and all types of professionals handling the child or being available to support that child. So as she was stating, the therapy when she started. So at Kise, we have a very unique type of rehabilitation setup where we have intervention through therapy, that is early intervention. We handle the child from, as we stated, neck control, sitting, standing. When they get to an age of school, now we have educational assessors who are qualified in different types of disability to assess a child and give advice on what school they are best placed in. So in school, they are advised that mostly, because children learn through visual or imitating. So if you put them in an inclusive setup where we have regular students, they learn easily. So having Kise put up such a setup of professionals together improves the life of quality and makes it easier for moms like Mama Zuri and others out there to be able to have their children achieve these milestones and even get to point of employment. Like Kise, I think the client just, you asked about the eldest I've ever seen or handled, the 40-year-old plus, I think. We have, Kise is proud to have one of the best staff who is a cerebral palsy
Wow.
staff.
I'll look for him or her. Say her.
She's a counselor as well.
Wow.
Yeah, and she's doing great because the parents relate with her and they get best advices, and when it comes from her,
She's
it's
perfect for that,
exactly.
actually. Yeah, she is. Now, I'm curious. What are the services? Because if I'm going to bring my kid here, like, what are the charges? Sorry, if I'm going to bring my kid here for, I don't know up to when. What am I going? How much am I going to be incurring in terms of cost?
So I think the government is also trying to do a lot in ensuring we subsidize these services to
Hii
an
ni nini ya
affordable
gava?
rate. Yeah, we are at a government institution.
Hii
There's a-
inakaa poa hivi. I'm sorry, but inakaa fiti sana.
yeah, it's under the Ministry of Education. Yeah.
So
Just send you
charges,
to-
nikiingia pale, nimekam, maybe back then Mama Zuri when you came in, I'm sure ulikuwa unajua. We, so naenda how much am I expected?
So the amount we charge here is very subsidized. So we have as educational assessment for school placement that is done for free. And rehabilitation services or the therapies, we charge 100 per activity, 100 shillings per
100?
session.
100 shillings?
Yeah, per activity. So
For
it's
real?
quite subsidized.
That is good. So sahi nikikam na mtoto wangu, I want to know where, like how many sessions I'm going to have.
Yes.
Assessment is free.
Assessment, the initial assessment for therapy services is free.
If I'm told I need 30 sessions for therapy, it's 100 per session.
Yeah, it's 100 per session.
Wow.
Yeah, so you probably might need, maybe if it's physiotherapy or occupational therapy and sensory integration or hydro, so it might be 200 per session.
Because I was asking myself, if at all I'm going to bring this kid here for years and years
Yeah.
and years and years, hiyo si ni pesa mingi. Oh wow, at least nimeona gava. At least, well,
It's trying to,
yeah.
provide the best services possible. They feel also accepted.
And
not
that
just,
person who is far from here, because now we are in Kasarani.
Yeah.
Kuna msee akona mtoto akona CP ako Mombasa. Kuna kise Mombasa.
Currently, we don't have. So most of them come get
All the
assessed
way.
from here. But the government is also trying, as I said, it's currently is more focused on persons living with disabilities. So we are trying to see, we have what we call the EAC centers across the country, the counties, to see how we can revamp them. So we have done an evaluation of their status, and hopefully we are able to equip them and have at least centers where this can be the main center, and then they can receive the services within their locality or home area.
Because Aki, if we had many of this, I'm sure Amazuru Nafi. If we had many of this, because Aki haikai gava, let me repeat that. Haikai inaka private, some. So I'm happy. I'm happy to hear that. Ikakuwa mingi, mnaweza tusaidia sana. Maybe one last thing for that parent who is scared, like who is in that position right now, 8 years ago, where you were, amepata mtoi, hajui ni nini, hajui ataanzia wapi, hajui hata kise. What can you tell that parent? Like a word of encouragement, ama something that they need to know?
First thing ni accept like you have a child mwenye ni differently abled. If you don't accept, trust me, utashikwa na depression. You'll fall into depression. After accepting now, jaribu kutafuta centers. Yes, ziko ni very few, and therapy out there is very expensive. Actually, per session is very costly, thanks to the government now that na maybe NGOs zenye zimefanya hizo services zimekuwa affordable. Kama huwezi afford kulipa therapy uko nje, just tafuta, at least kuwa na bidii pia wewe kama mzazi, at least you go and search for these centers zenye utapata help, mali utafanya mtoto, mali utapata subsidized places za kupeleka afanyiwe therapy, na usimfiche. Another thing ni take that child to school, mwache asome, wacha kusema haezi shika kitu. They learn, they do a lot actually. Wanajua mingi and they're very sharp. Most of them wako very smart. So sometimes you expect asijue kitu ama hawezi fanya. And then to your surprise, when you encourage that child, when you give them love, when you give them the care that they need, they get to do it, and they do it very well. Hata kuliko venye ulikuwa una expect. So to parents out there, pelekeni watoto therapy, go seek help. Anza kwanza na kuheal mwenyewe, because it's not easy actually, it's not easy. So I don't expect you like uamke one day useme nimeheal. No, it's a process pia. Peleka watoto shule, take them to therapy, give them love they need, give them the care and the support. Msiachanishe watoto, because sometimes unapata mtoto ameachanishwa and hawako kwa a good state, and most of those kids when they don't get the care that they need. Unfortunately, they give up. By giving up, like they die. Not all, lakini most of them, sababu walilaki hiyo love, wakalaki hiyo care. And the care ina entail a lot. Si hata hiyo feeding, hiyo kumuongelesha. There's a way you can talk to your child. Wewe nawe uko tu like you're just sleeping. No, don't say that to that child. Wanna understand. Sometimes lack of that can I say communication? No, lack of speech. Kutoa hiyo maneno kwa mdomo, it doesn't mean like they don't understand ama they are not able to communicate. Just learn the way your child communicates. It might be, inaweza kuwa ni signs, inaweza kuwa ni the kind of sounds anatoa. Yeah, just get to understand them.
Is there a way it affected your social life when you
Yes.
got that baby, Zuri?
Yes, it did.
How?
Actually, after now akifika ile age ya kuachieve milestones na wengine, you find some people asking you, kwani wewe mbona mtoto wako hajafanya hii na wa fulani alizaliwa juzi na amefanya? You know, so trying to avoid such question, you get to lock yourself. Unakaa kando unasema, okay, let me try to deal with whatever I have now kwa situation. And then when they grow up like now, maybe you expose them to the world, to hapa nje, to the community, to the society. Some people don't take them like hawachukuli vizuri, you know. Hiyo tunaweza sema discrimination, and that discrimination huwa ina hurt not only to that child but also as a parent. You see, when you see someone discriminating your child, and maybe that someone is your friend or maybe your relative, it really hurts a lot. Like you're like, sikupenda kwake, and why are you doing this to this child or to this person? Or sometimes you go, you know, tuko kwa age ya social media, unaenda social media unapata challenge, na challenge iko ni about disability and then stuff, you know, people make fun of these people without even knowing. Okay, as a parent maybe naweza understand from that point, like, okay, sorry to say, there was this challenge like do something or be disabled, and then you see people imitating this watu walemavu. Yeah, such things, they really hurt for caregivers, for those people. At least watu wanafaa kujua wange kwa hiyo shoes, si kupenda kwa mtu ako hivyo. Like maybe you try to imitate someone who's stammering, you know, that is quite serious because it's not their wish or will to be like that. So I think kunafaa kuwa na awareness huku nje, vitu zingine watu, before you do it, just think beyond that, something that you're supposed to do.
How do you feel? I'm sorry. Zuri, the second hospital you went is not the same hospital you went to the first.
No, it's not.
How do you feel with that first hospital that left you labor? Do you feel like some blamingi in a way?
I feel like kulikuwa na negligence, and then being that a patient walks in, you know, when you're in labor, you don't know how long you take to labor. You don't, you know, hauko aware of yourself because that time you're in pain. You don't know what to expect, especially as a new parent. I can say a young mother, being the first time mother, you don't know what to expect. You don't know, as much as utakuwa umefanya research yako, au utakuwa na hiyo like what you're expecting. So about this hospital, it is hard actually. Sometimes ukipita karibu na hiyo hospital, you're like, you know, these people really make, due to their negligence, I can say, because most of cerebral palsy, like 90% during birth, zinatokana na hiyo negligence ya yenye inaleta but asphyxia leading to CP. So it is hard. So the second time I knew I was expecting, hata sikutaka kuona. Actually nilikuwa naogopa first thing. So I had to go to find an hospital where I know someone who can at least watch over you. Can I say watch over you? Take care of that situation. Now, isikuwe tu same repetition, because it's the parents huko nje unapata wamepata CP for the first time and the second time. Maybe second time sababu ya ile uoga, and maybe hakuwa handle poa pia, bado inaweza lead. Unapata so anakuwa na 2 CP cases. And actually, cerebral palsy is not genetic. It's not like inherited from vile watu wengine wanasema hizo ni mashida za familia. No, it is not. So anyone can get CP. Yeah.
What's the difference? Maybe you can tell us the physical difference between CP and Down syndrome. Because, so there's autism. Autism you can't tell. Like you can't tell when you look from the physical appearance, right?
Yeah.
Then there's CP and Down syndrome. What's the difference?
So when you talk about CP and Down syndrome, but first of all, from the causes and how they relate. Down syndrome is genetic and CP is not. The presentation of a Down syndrome child, you're able to tell from the physical appearance, how the face and the shape of the face is, the neck. So there's some clinical features that you probably look at and they can tell you. So you're able to differentiate a Down syndrome child from a cerebral palsy child. Yeah.
A cerebral palsy is muscles. The muscles now are weak.
Yeah, they are weak and coordinated. Some Down syndrome cases have some weakness in muscles, some learning difficulties. So there are some shared symptoms, but physically looking at them, you're able to differentiate. Once you know how one or each presents, you're able to differentiate. Yeah.
Mama Zuri, how is it now? Like, I am assuming Baba Zuri is very supportive in all this journey, all through and through.
Yes, he's been so supportive, very, very supportive. Naweza sema like even the acceptance that nilimake hiyo decision ya accept like now I have a special child, I must deal with it. It is through him actually. He really supported me. You know, CP is not easy. At first ukiambiwa and then you know the reality anze kuhit. That is when you go to the bedroom and maybe mnajipata tu na yeye peke yako and then you have to cry. So you have to cry. The shoulder that you're crying on ni yake. So sometimes pia maybe as a parent, being a human being pia anaweza break, but you know sometimes he's a man. He was there, he told me, no, you see, hatuwezi badilisha, we cannot change. We try to do some research maybe. Something came up na ilikuwa inaitwa stem cell. We tried to research about it. And then you try to find every possible mean, yeah, at least for your child akwepo. He's been very supportive. Actually, he never misses Zuri's therapies.
Wow.
Yes, like each and every session, the 3 sessions that we have, he's always here, not unless ako very far away. Hata kama ni siku ya kazi, he has to take a day off, like, and be there for these therapies. Even sometimes when I nimepata kazi somewhere, or maybe I'm busy, he humleta therapy.
Thank you, Baba
Zuri.
Zuri.
Through that, yes.
Big up Baba Zuri. Because I was coming to my next question. I had to ask that one. I've noticed around here, many parents who are bringing their kids are women. Are mothers. Na nikasema kwanza chanzo about Baba Zuri before I ask, because is there a thing? Like, can you tell why? Najua mtoto ni wa mama, lakini pia kuna baba.
Ndio.
But most of the people who are bringing the kids are their moms.
I think that brings me to the previous statement that I had said. I think we are mothers are strong. I don't know, I can't give a definitive answer why we don't have them. Siwatetei nasema siwezi sema ni kwa nini. Though most of them live during the such periods or never attend. Some of them come once, after seeing what happens, they get maybe traumatized, they never come again.
Don't we get traumatized?
That's why I'm saying they are strong.
We are strong.
And that's we appreciate. We appreciate you. But nonetheless, Kise also is trying to assist the parents to ensure that we have these parents together through programs. Like currently we are trying to have what we call a parental empowerment center, whereby we'll be able to, when we have a young couple who have got a child with disability, we're able to take them through counseling, training programs, acceptance stages, such that we don't lose this couple. Because you imagine the number of parents who have children with disability, them separating, it's not something that I think the government is trying to ensure that supports them. So that's why we have such programs. And also the therapies, the counselors are also trying to see how best to ensure we bring back the fathers by support. They also need support and being talked to and advised as well.
Yeah. Thank you. Aki, please do that. Because I've observed, because especially the kids with CP, those who can't walk, mama anafunga mtoto na leso kwa mgongo. And those kids are big. They are heavy. So the dad, where is the... Okay, I'm not judging all of them, but sijaona mwanaume na leso na mtoto kwa mgongo. Like sija notice. So you see it, you can feel this. There are women who ni wao wameachiwa hiyo kazi. Which, yeah, we are strong. We accept we are strong, but please, we need help.
Yeah.
We need a leaning shoulder, right? Yeah. So as we wind up on this, maybe from the therapist, no, from the
Physical therapy.
yeah, the one parting remark to that parent who needs to amesikia Mama Zuri amesema jani yake kutoka 3 months to 8 months, at least amesikia shallowly, but bado anashindwa. Na bado amesikia services ni 100 shillings per session, but bado ana feel not yet. Bado siko convinced kabisa kukuja Kise.
Okay, first of all, I think we are all victims of disability, despite any other thing, and we don't have a definition of normal in a dictionary, and this is the norm. So we are all different and incapable in our own various ways. It's just that they are at least more, not able to do some activities. So once we appreciate that, and the society is encouraged and mainstreamed and trained how to live together and adapt structures, mindset, we'll basically live not visualizing someone as having a disability. An example, the way children play. Most of them, until you tell them or they grow up and learn what is this, that's when now they try to segregate. But us trying to be inclusive, training about disability mainstreaming, us appreciating this is where now we ensure having an inclusive society as well. So to mothers out there or parents, I think one thing is for people with disability, they are out there and they are literally doing wonders. We have seen in television, they are performing, they are acting, they are the best writers, sculptors, ICT people. So it's not an end to that child. They can do wonders. So give them the support, as Mama Zuri has said, and ensure early intervention as key, and home programs follow up on them. During your pregnancy period, ensure you visit your clinics. These are the things that will ensure for you to have a successful or a child who is able to be independent. Because hata wengine lazima tuwafuatilie ndio wakuwe productive. Some of them end up in places where they're not able to provide or assist. So you have to follow up on them. So the same way you take care of the others, take care of them, give them the support they need, take them the right places, and eventually they probably end up much better than even some of us.
True.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. It was insightful. I think tumesikia. Personally, I have known Kise now. I think it's a week of knowing Kise. Nimelelewa tu Mwiki na sijaijua Kise iko hapa Isipe Road. So in case there is that parent who is still moving around and around looking for help, looking for medication, and you have a kid with CP, I feel like you should reach out to Kise. If you can, please bring your kid apate your help. You've had Zuri's story, anaenda shule na watoto wengine. I feel like there's no need ya kukaa na mtoto kwa nyumba. If at all anaweza karibia tu, ka independence tu kiasi. So usideny mtoto wako hiyo right yake. Thank you so much, guys, for sharing the wisdom, sharing the knowledge, for having your time on our set in your playroom. Naona playroom inakaa vizuri. Yeah, so until next time, guys, it's a bye from us.
Bye.
Bye.